Black people, you know, that's what I hate about white folks. They took away our religious beliefs, Tariq. They destroyed all of who we are as a people, and they trained black people to either accept their particular ways of life. And see, black people, no matter how hard they get educated, whenever they realize that the fucking religious philosophies that they have espoused or have agreed to or have come to accept is wrong, then they want to ice them. What Martin Luther King said at the end, he said, listen, I'm not worried about anything, because I done been to the mountaintop, and I done seen the promised land. And he said, I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. And he said, I'm not fearing anything, and I'm not worried about any man, because mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. See, so whenever black men realize that this white boy needs to be kissed, fuck him, suck his dick, they want to get rid of him. You see what I'm saying? Because that religion that they gave to black people is wrong. No matter how much you speak English, nigga, you never gonna really be able to articulate what you feel as a black man. Because it's a white man's language. It ain't black people's language. We know how to deal with your ass in African, nigga. That's what we talking about. Dealing with your ass as an African. See, but this language don't really articulate how we deal with our internal way of dealing with a higher power. It doesn't, and it never will. I don't care how intellectual you get or how smart you get or how many words you can use in this particular. This is a white boy's language, and it means certain things to white people only. Black people, we need leaders like exceptional leaders like a Malcolm or a Martin or Elijah or Marcus or Du Bois or Robeson we need exceptional men who we can look to and say, oh, that's what they have come to realize, or that's what they've come to recognize during their lifetime, and they didn't give up the struggle. You know, they didn't give up the struggle. That's right. You see? When the boys met with Mao in China, he said, the Chinese people honored him. He said, I've made so many mistakes. Mao said, you haven't made more mistakes than the Chinese Communist Party. He said, but the only unforgivable mistake is to stop fighting for the people. There you go. That's what Mao told him. That's right. And this is a leader of 1 billion motherfuckers. There you go. He said, listen, nigga. And the boys cried, man. Yeah. He said, these motherfuckers. He said, I'm known as this in China, when in my own country, I'm only known as a nigga. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Marcus Garvey said the same thing. They would do anything to please white people just to call you a nigga. Talking about his own people. Elijah said the same thing. Malcolm said the same thing. He said, what you call a nigga with a PhD? I mean, a black man with a PhD. I call him a nigga. A nigga. That's what I call him. That's what I call that nigga.
That's a shame.
I said a nigga. That's what they call him.
That's a shame.
Nigga, motherfucker. Shit, what they call him? They call him a nigga. Yeah, but we gonna get this thing off right, man. We not gonna let them fucking weirdos take control either. Because you got the power and you got the momentum, and the youth is willing to passionately be attached or involved in something. Every young person wants to belong to something. Yeah. That's just innate, something that we grow up with. We want to be a part of something. You see what I'm saying? And if you can get young black people to recognize that gang banging is bullshit. When they could dump your ass in the middle of the ocean like they did Osama bin Laden, nigga. If Obama wanted to, he can send motherfuckers into each of these towns and dump your ass into the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. And your mama won't do shit.
Or cry.
Your mama won't do shit.
Talking about my baby gone.
Yeah, that's all you gonna say. That's all you gonna say. Because that's where the problem is. Ain't none of these niggas hanging out on these corners got no lease nowhere. Ain't no landlord smart enough to give them a lease. So we know some bitch who's scared of them, some bitch who's afraid of them, and some bitch who they done knocked up they living with. No matter what they doing, so, this particular movement that you're talking about, Tariq, I wish the students can recognize, can see themselves in society. Yeah. And see that they can change this shit. If they really want to be a part of something that's going to be special. And the thing is, man, I'm looking at all this shit, and what we've
was talking about, I'm sitting there, I'm getting the ideas. We're going to even have to broaden it a little bit. Because it got to be we have to give some presentations on SNCC so the youth can see, or the youth, or the Latinos who walked out in California in the 70s. Like, they got to see some visuals too. We can't just sit them in the classroom, so I'm going to have to try to figure out how to incorporate that into that. They need to know about SNCC. They need to know that young people ran SNCC. Bob Moses and them. They need to know that. They need to know that it was young people in Tiananmen Square. They need to know that, or the Red Army. Those were young people.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So you gotta look at that.
That's right.
I remember that when they was in there arguing with Dr. King, not too long before he died, when he was down south with Stokely and them. And he was saying, "No, Dr. King, we ain't going for that shit no more. That's over." That was a break. There was a break there, man. When he said, if there is to be bloodshed, let it be our blood. They was like, "Nah, nigga,
That's right.
You got to come up with another strategy.
There you go.
There's gonna be some reciprocal blood around this motherfucker."
And he changed his policy. He said, like, he changed his policy.
Stokely said, "Before we leave, nigga, you gonna say Black Power."
And he did. He did that at Morningside Church, or what was Riverside Church? He made that speech at Riverside Church. He made that speech.
I got all the speeches, man.
Yeah, me too. I got them.
King, man.
I got them.
The drum major instinct.
That's right. Why we can't wait.
Why we can't wait.
You know?
Chaos of community.